Hey guys, YouTuber100 here. Alright, now continuing these. Oh, sorry, not continuing, yeah. Beginning these reviews that I was talking about. With my Chucky movies and Goosebumps videos. Here's my review of Child's Play 2. So, yeah, this movie, I'd say is kind of, eh. I mean, yeah, it's not. It's really not as good as the first movie, I'd say. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I really like this. This movie isn't really like terrible, but it's really not good either. I mean, it's an okay movie, I'd say, but yeah, it's not really like necessarily good, I'd say. So yeah, I mean, it's still like it's better than some of the other ones in the series. I'd definitely say that. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, not really like good per se. Yeah, I mean, this one really does continue the story from the first movie. I mean, Chucky is still out to transfer his soul into Andy's body. Yeah, and yeah, you have Alex Vincent returning as Andy, and yeah, of course, Brad Dourif returning as Chucky. But other than that, I mean, this movie pretty much has a completely new cast of characters. Yeah, because yeah, Andy's yeah, she was taken to a mental hospital after telling people what, like the police, what happened with Chucky from the first movie. Yeah, and yeah, I mean yeah, and the movie is set 2 years after the first, so yeah, time has passed, and also, yeah, after the first movie, the rights of Child's Play were sold from United Artists to Universal. So yeah, first movie was from United Artists. All the other movies have been done by Universal. So yeah, and yeah, I mean, yeah, Chucky, he's like an idiot in this movie. I mean, he has like so many opportunities to transfer his soul into Andy's body, but he just lies around and does nothing. And then he just does a bunch of pointless stuff and like killing other people, vandalizing Andy's schoolwork. I mean, yeah, I mean, he just does a bunch of useless stuff that's not gonna get him his soul transferred anymore. But yeah, this movie, it's kind of like, yeah, I give this about, I don't know, 2.5 stars out of 4. So yeah, let me just get into it. So the movie opens up with the Chucky's burnt doll body after the what happened in the first movie. Yeah, his body and the face was just completely burned and it was all messed up. And then the good guy doll company just redid it. Yeah, they like scraped off all of the burnt plastic and yeah, they just rebuilt it and repainted it. Yeah. And then yeah, the CEO of the good guy company, Mr. Sullivan, and his assistant Madsen then talk, and then yeah, they're like talking about what happened with Andy and his mother and what happened with Chucky. Yeah, and yeah, Madsen was saying that they found the doll and they're rebuilding it. And as they were like setting up to put the eyes into the new doll body rather, yeah, the machine like broke down, and as they were trying to fix it, then the eyes got inserted in, but then the inside of Chucky's eyes like became red, and then like it just became an electrocution just started on one of the workers, and the worker got electrocuted and just thrown through a window. And then yeah, and then it showed Andy at his foster care center. He's talking to someone about what happened with Chucky. The guy was thinking that Andy was just dreaming. It was just a bad dream Andy had, and yeah, Andy was telling the guy what happened with Chucky. And yeah, and yeah, it showed And then it showed like the worker being taken out, and then then this the Mattson was just telling Mr. Sullivan what was going on, and then and then back at the foster care center, the manager of the center, Grace Poole, was talking to the two people who were like thinking of taking Andy in for foster care, who were Phil and Joanne Simpson. Yeah, she was telling them about Andy. Phil was kind of like he, he was feeling kind of optimistic about taking Andy. He was feeling that maybe they weren't the right people for him. And then Grace was basically just telling Phil that Andy just needs some care or whatever until his mother recovers. Yeah. And then Phil and Joanne took Andy to their home. Yeah. And they were showing Andy around, and then Andy was looking at some like antique statue or whatever it was called, and Joanne was telling Andy that that's been in her family for 3 generations. Yeah. And then Andy went upstairs, and then he met his foster sister Kyle. And Kyle was like saying that she hasn't stayed at any foster home for over a month. And that's why her suitcase is still packed after she had been there for 3 weeks. And then Joanne showed Andy his room, and Andy took a look around at the toys in there, and then he saw another good guy doll in the closet that fell, and then Andy was starting to run off, but then Joanne and Phil took the doll out of the room. And then they just told Andy to make himself comfortable there. And then later on the night, as Mattson was leaving the good guy doll factory, he went at like a liquor store to get a bottle of vodka. And then while he was Chucky was also with him. Mattson took Chucky with him. And then Chucky used Mattson's phone to call the foster care center. He was talking to Grace, and he was saying that he was Andy's Uncle Charles. And then once Mattson got back into his car, Chucky then appeared to hold a gun to his face, and then he told Mattson to drive to Phil and Joanne's house room. And then Chucky then tied Mattson's arms behind the seat of the car. And it looked like he was gonna shoot Mattson, but it turned out the gun he had was just a squirt gun. It just squirted water, but then he suffocated Mattson with a plastic bag and killed him. And then Chucky then went inside Phil and Joanne's house. And as Joanne was reading Andy a bedtime story, and Andy was later saying that he misses his mom, and he just asked Joanne to stay with him until he fell asleep. And as Chucky was inside the house, he then went to, and then like turned around and went face to face with the other good guy doll, who his name was actually Tommy. And then Chucky then quote-unquote killed Tommy. First he punched him, and then he used Joanne's antique statue and just nailed Tommy with it. And Andy thought he heard something, but Joanne told Andy that it was nothing. And then Chucky buried Tommy in the backyard. So then the next morning, Phil talked to Kyle and Andy about the broken antique. He wanted to know which one of them did it, and both of them said they didn't do it, and then Phil just decided to ground the both of them until one of them would fess up. And then, at one point, and then later on, Andy and Kyle were in the basement doing some laundry, and Kyle gave Andy her cigarette, and then Andy took a puff of it. But and Kyle was telling Andy that only grown-ups smoke because it's bad for kids or something, yeah. And then later on, well, yeah, Andy then overheard Phil saying that he really, yeah, he was just saying like stuff about Andy, saying that he is just like looking for attention and stuff, and then Joanne was trying to tell Phil that they need to give him comfort, and yeah, and then Andy just walked past them, and then he came across the good guy doll, who at this point was Chucky, but Andy and none of them knew it yet. Andy told the good guy doll that he hates him, and then yeah, Chucky in the good guy doll voice said he was Tommy, but right before he said Tommy, like his eyes like turned for him to think of it. Yeah. Then Andy checked in the back of the doll to see if there were batteries in there, and there were. So Andy thought it was okay, and that this was a real good guy doll. Yeah. And then yeah, later on outside, Andy and Kyle were in the backyard, and then yeah, they were swinging, and as Andy was pushing Kyle on the swing, Kyle's feet were like kicking the dirt, and it was like Chucky was worried about them uncovering Tommy's body. But yeah, then Phil called Andy and Kyle in for dinner, and so yeah, they ran inside. And then later that night, Chucky then, um, he came alive and he tied Kyle's arm, well, no, not Kyle, Andy's hands and feet to the legs of the bed. And yeah, Andy woke up and then yeah, he saw what he was in, his arms and legs tied up and a sock in his mouth, so he couldn't scream for help, yeah. And then Chucky attempted to do the voodoo chant, but Kyle stopped him by just like hickorying out the window. Yeah, and so Chucky told Andy next time he's alone that he's his. And then yeah, Kyle went in, and then yeah, she untied Andy, and then yeah, Andy was trying to say that Chucky was alive. Then Joanne and Phil came in, and they thought Kyle was the one who tied up Andy. And Kyle tried to tell them that. Why do I keep saying Kyle? Yeah, Andy then tried to tell Phil and Joanne that Chucky was the one that tied him up, and then Phil took the doll and then just threw him down to the basement. And then when Phil closed the door, Chucky then saw that he was bleeding from the nose, and he realized that he was starting to become more human. And then the next day, Andy went to school. He got on the bus, and then once the bus took off, it showed Chucky's legs below the bus. So yeah, Chucky was going with Andy to school. And yeah, at one point, yeah, Chucky just sabotaged Andy's schoolwork. He on Andy's on a thing sheet of Andy's schoolwork, Chucky wrote "fuck you, bitch" on the paper, and then yeah, the teacher saw it later, and then yeah, the teacher, Miss Miss Kettlewell, then got after Andy for it, telling her it wasn't funny. And then yeah, she kept Andy after school for detention. Yeah, Andy tried telling Miss Kettlewell that he wasn't the one that did it. And when she asked him who did, he saw like Chucky with the rest of the toys. But then Miss Kettlewell grabbed the doll and locked it in the closet and told Andy to put his head down. And then she locked Andy in the classroom by himself, which was absolutely stupid. Yeah. And then, yeah, Andy went to the closet door and looked through the keyhole, and he saw Chucky peeking through it, and then, yeah, Andy escaped through the window. And then when Miss Kettlewell got back to the classroom, she saw Andy was gone from his seat. She thought Andy might have been in the closet because, yeah, Chucky was still trying to escape, but she didn't know it was Chucky. And then she opened the closet door, trying to look for Andy. But then, yeah, Chucky then, like, stabbed Miss Kettlewell with, I think it was an air pump first, and then, yeah, she fell to the ground. Then Chucky somehow killed her with a yardstick, which I'm not sure how that works. Yeah. And then, yeah, once Andy got home, he tried telling Joanne and Phil that Chucky was alive, and then, yeah, Phil just, he had enough of it, and then he told Andy to open the basement door, and then, yeah, but Andy didn't open the door, then Phil opened it himself, and then it showed Chucky still down at the bottom of the stairs. and he tried to convince Andy that he hasn't been there since he's been there since last night. Like, but yeah, Andy didn't answer when Phil asked him if it was true. And then yeah, later on, Phil was just saying that Andy's probably not the doesn't belong with them, and he was trying to tell Joanne and that maybe they should take him back to the foster center. And then yeah, Kyle then went to Andy, and then yeah, she was trying to tell Andy that the only person that Andy could really count on was himself, just like the way Kyle is. And yeah, then Andy then said no matter where he goes, Chucky will find him. And then yeah, then that night, Andy then like grabbed electrical powered an electric powered knife, and then yeah, he went down to the basement to try to search for Chucky. Yeah, he wasn't at the bottom of the stairs, and yeah, Andy was searching all around the basement trying to find Chucky. And then yeah, at one point Chucky then took Andy down, and Andy dropped the knife, and yeah, he tried to reach for it some more. And then yeah, Phil thought he heard something downstairs, and then yeah, he went to check it out, and then yeah, Andy was able to get the knife back, and then Chucky just like ran off, and then yeah, Phil then were right in the basement, and he saw Andy with the knife. He tried to tell Andy to just put the knife down, and that they'll talk about it. And then yeah, I think it was with like a fireplace poker or something. Chucky then tripped Phil from the stairs. Then yeah, then Phil tripped, and he was hanging upside down from the stairs. And right before Chucky killed him, Chucky said, "How's it hanging, Phil?" And yeah, Chucky let go, and then Phil fell to the ground and died. Yeah, then Joanne and Kyle came, and then they saw what happened. And Kyle went to call an ambulance, and yeah, and Joanne told Andy. Why do I keep saying Kyle? Yeah, she told Andy to just get away from her. Yeah, then yeah, Phil's body was then put into one of those body bags and then put into an ambulance. And as Joanne was packing up Andy's stuff, she was saying that she should have listened to Phil, and if she did, he'd still be alive. And Kyle just told Joanne it wasn't her fault. Yeah, and then yeah, Grace then took Andy back to the foster center. Yeah. And then yeah, before Andy left, he told Kyle that Chucky was still in the basement and kill him before he gets hurt too. Yeah. Then later on, Kyle was swinging again, and then yeah, her feet were like kicking off some more dirt, and then yeah, it then exposed Tommy's foot, and then yeah, she pulled Tommy's doll body out of the dirt where Chucky buried it. That after, oh yeah, and I should say, like, at this point she like threw Chucky into a garbage can. Yeah, and then what I just said happened. Then she was swinging and kicked the dirt, and then yeah, she found Tommy's body. And yeah, then she went back to the trash can, and then Chucky was gone. And then yeah, Kyle then went back into the house because she knew Chucky was in there. Then yeah, she grabbed a knife from the closet, then ran up to Joanne's room, and then she found Joanne was dead. And yeah, Chucky then attacked Kyle, and then yeah, Kyle dropped her knife, and then yeah, Kyle used a part of a lamp to hit Chucky to get him off of her. Yeah, and then as she was trying to get the knife back, Chucky grabbed it before her. And again, yeah, Chucky then tripped Kyle, and then yeah, he made her drive over to the foster care center so Chucky could get Andy to transfer his soul. Yeah. And then at one point, Kyle just like slammed on the brakes, and Chucky went flying through the windshield. And yeah, then Kyle like drove into a pole, and then yeah, Chucky was cornered up against the fence, and then yeah, Kyle then drove right into the fence. Yeah, she didn't know if she hit Chucky or not because she didn't see him, and then yeah, she got out of her car, and then yeah, Chucky then had Kyle held knife point. Well, at knife point, and yeah. then back at over at the foster care center, like Andy knew what was coming, and so yeah, he was just after he got tucked in by Grace, he then got dressed again, and then yeah, he was just waiting, and then yeah, then the fire alarm then went off, and then yeah, all the kids there were evacuating, and then then Andy saw Kyle and Chucky right at the bottom, and then yeah, when he saw them, he just stopped. He just looked at Kyle, and Kyle looked at him. And yeah, then Grace came by, and then she saw Kyle at the bottom of the stairs, and then yeah, she pulled Andy and Kyle into her office, and then yeah, she snatched Chucky, and then Chucky then killed Grace, and then yeah, she just fell on a copying machine, and it made copies of her, yeah. And Kyle and Andy tried to escape, but Chucky shut the door before Andy could get out, and then yeah, then he made Andy take him somewhere where he could do the voodoo chant to transfer his soul. And then yeah, then he had Andy jump into the back of a Chicago Sun-Times truck, yeah, and then Kyle was following in her car. Then she, like, made the driver pull over, and yeah, she kind of, like, cornered him up, and yeah, she stopped him, and then yeah, then when she got to the back of the truck, Andy and Chucky were gone, and then yeah, Chucky made Andy run into Good Guy Doll Factory, and Kyle followed, and yeah, the garage door was closing from the Good Guy Doll Factory, and Kyle just barely made it in. And then yeah, in the factory there were like loads and loads of Good Guy Doll boxes. Then Chucky then knocked Andy out, and then yeah, he attempted the voodoo chant, and yeah, he completed the chant, but yeah, it turned out he was too late. And so yeah, he ended up being trapped in the doll body. And then, yeah, Kyle pushed a bunch of boxes over onto Chucky, burying him, letting Andy, giving Andy the chance to run away. And then yeah, they tried to escape. But yeah, it was like a maze inside the factory. Yeah. And then yeah, they eventually came to like the machines in the factory. Yeah. Then they like found a chute, and then they climbed up that. But then Andy like slid down it, and then yeah, Chucky was then right behind Andy, and yeah, then Kyle helped Andy get up, and then yeah, she shut a cage door down onto Chucky's hand, getting him trapped. Then yeah, Chucky then eventually like pulled out, ripping his hand off. And then yeah, Kyle and Andy saw that there was an emergency exit right past where the part of the machine where inserting the eyes into the dolls is. Yeah, but it turned out that that door was locked, so they had to find another way out. And then Chucky then, like, made a knife, used the knife to make it, put as a, like, an arm for him. Yeah. And then, yeah, like, all the Good Guy dolls were, like, just making a pile by that eye inserting machine, and then, yeah, the security guard for the factory went to fix it, and yeah, as he did, Chucky then like sliced the guard's cheek, and then yeah, that made him fall right back to where the eye inserting machine was, and then the Good Guy doll eyes were inserted right where the guard's real eyes were, killing him. Yeah, and then Andy and Kyle, they like saw part of the machine where like something would cause it to like attach multiple limbs and like heat up the body or something. Yeah, I really don't know what that machine really did. Yeah. And then yeah, Chucky then was on one of the stands for the dolls, and he tried going after Andy and Kyle again, but then yeah, Chucky ended up being like stapled down onto the stand, and then yeah, he was put into the limb attached machine thing, yeah. And right before he was put in, Kyle gave Chucky the finger, yeah. And then yeah, so Chucky was put in the machine, and then yeah, like all the limbs were being attached to him, and then yeah, we could hear Chucky screaming, and then the machine opened, and yeah, it looked like Chucky was dead, and then yeah, Carl and Andy then tried to leave, but then it showed like a trail of blood and next to like a rope, and then yeah, then Kyle got struck by the dead security guard's body that Chucky like put on the rope, and it was swinging back and forth, and yeah, Chucky then like had no legs, and he was using a cart to try to go after Andy again. Then yeah, there was like this hot wax stuff in the factory too, and then yeah, Chucky saw it dripping, and then yeah, Andy just released it and had it like just all shoot out into Chucky. And yeah, it looked like Chucky was dead there too. And then yeah, Andy helped Kyle, before like he got put in that limb machine thing. Yeah, but then yeah, then they saw Chucky's body in that wax. But yeah, it turned out Chucky was still alive. And yeah, he tried going after Kyle again. Then Kyle inserted an air hose in Chucky's mouth, and then yeah, Chucky's head filled with air, and then Chucky just exploded. Yeah, and yeah, that ended up killing Chucky. Yeah, and then yeah, then afterwards, Kyle and Andy left the Good Guy Doll Factory. Said they were going home, but Andy asked where was home, and yeah, Kyle really just said she really doesn't know. And so that's how it ended. So yeah, who knows, maybe they were living on the streets for a while. I mean, who knows what happened with them afterwards. So yeah, like I said, 2.5 stars out of 4. Yeah, it's not really like horrible. I mean, yeah, it's definitely better than some of the other movies in the series, but yeah, I really wouldn't really say it's really good per se, but yeah. Alright, so yeah, that does it for my Child's Play 2 review. Hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, stay tuned for, like, next is gonna be the Goosebumps video, so yeah, just stay tuned for my first Goosebumps video, and yeah, there will be more, like, Chucky reviews coming along with the Goosebumps videos, so yeah. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this, so yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.